So the original plan for this video was just to talk about the Leaf Eater ban and just call it a night, but actually while I was live, James Charles ended up putting out a statement talking about some very interesting things, talking about his plans to sue the people falsely accusing him. Now, let me set the record straight here, alright? We're no fans of James Charles here, alright? James Charles is a moron, but there's a very clear difference between somebody who's a moron and somebody who's a pedophile. You can think all the things that you want, but you can't prove that James Charles knowingly texted underage people. I mean, he himself says in this statement right here that everybody that he messaged that was underage was somebody that had claimed that they were 18 or older that he was then later lied to. You can argue how irresponsible he is all you want, and you're right, by the way. He's a moron. I can't imagine how somebody, especially somebody with his status and influence and power, could be that brain dead. But calling somebody stupid or irresponsible is much different than calling somebody a pedophile. And it seems like throughout this entire situation where everybody's been banding together to call out James Charles, one thing that everybody's been completely comfortable on is calling this guy a pedophile and throwing around loose pedophile accusations like it's candy. I don't know how I need to explain this to you guys, but throwing around the word pedophile like it's nothing like this is just so harmful. It's harmful to YouTube. It's harmful to people who are actual victims of pedophiles. It's just downright unnecessary. You can call this guy stupid all you want, but I mean, I guess calling him an idiot doesn't quite punch harder. It doesn't quite create that necessary clickbait and attention that, you know, the H3 podcast, for instance, has been enjoying milking this story. So anyway, I want to read you guys James's note here because I find it highly fascinating. So in his note, he writes, accountability is something that I've spoken about a number of times in the past. In my most recent video, I spoke and took accountability for my part in conversations I had with a few individuals who told me they were over the age of 18. As I said in my video, I can't show change overnight, but will over time. Since posting that video, many others have come forward with a series of misleading stories and false allegations, which have been reported by many people, creators, and news outlets. My legal team has begun taking action against those who spread false misinformation and or created completely fake stories, as this has gone too far. These stories have caused many of my long-term partners to receive considerable negative feedback, one of them being Morphe. I've loved every moment working together and am beyond grateful for what we've created together. That being said, I've reached out to them and we mutually agreed to wind down our James Charles Morphe collaboration, which is my only project with them. Then he writes, I'm continuing to take time away to learn, grow, listen, blah, 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 and look forward to coming back one day in the future as a better version of myself, James. Okay, that's cool, that's awesome. I find this really interesting because, again, you can call him dangerous, you can call him all, every name in the book you can call him. But pedophile, I'm sorry, you're just, you know, unless you got proof that nobody else has seen, that you'll probably never find anyway, you just can't do that. And you can see the top reply here, at least on my screen, is Nick calling for Def Noodles. Def Noodles has acknowledged this post right here, and the only thing he's written back is clap back. Def Noodles, as you guys know, has reported at least 2 allegations that I can think of, one of which being a joke, and the other just being blatantly false, that he did not take the time to verify until after posting it. So here he tweets out an allegation. James Charles, 12th underage alleged victim, comes forward. The boy 15 allegedly told James his age. James allegedly responds, we can just chill. After allegedly offering to fly the boy to visit him and spend time at his house, 17 boys came forward. Now, never before have I seen an allegation that looks so ridiculous. He had the balls to actually say, like, DM me for more information. So, of course, that's what Nick did. Nick started DMing him. So, he's like, hey, Nick says, I'm a YouTuber 55K. So Nick's basically like, I want some proof of these DMs' existence, and the kid says, I've said multiple times, I blocked them, which means the messages are gone. This guy didn't even have a prepared excuse, alright? He literally just lies instantly, because that's not how Instagram works. When you block somebody, you can still see the DMs. Then he changes his lie mid-DM. Nick says if you block somebody, it doesn't delete the messages. He says, I deleted them. Wait, hold on. I thought you said they were gone because you blocked. Now you're saying you deleted them? So Nick asks, well, how come? What's going on there? Nick gets blocked. Nick gets absolutely blocked.
Just apologize to absolutely everyone about the James Charles situation, messaging, but it is fake, and it was my stupid, irresponsible idea to even do that, to try and ruin someone else's career and try and gain clout in a way. But honestly, I am so sorry from the bottom of my heart, from the people that commented, from the people that shared.
I'm so sorry from the bottom of my heart.
We can tell.
I did it. Yeah. Got exactly what I wanted.
He sounds like
everyone's paying attention to me, and I'm sorry.
He sounds like British Smaggle.
Yeah.
We can tell based on the background music and, you know, the inflection of your voice that you give a fuck, obviously. Exactly. So, there you go. Def Noodles reported that, of course. But I know we've been shitting all over Def Noodles all enough. And to be fair, he deserves it, alright? You know what else I'm thinking about? Ethan Klein, who simply wrote back jail. That was his acknowledgement of the tweet. I wrote him back saying sued. I think my response is pretty appropriate, but Ethan also said one last thing. He said, last I counted, there were 17 total accusations, 10 of which are minors, 2 James has confessed to. Tell me which ones are lying. Well, as I've shown before, we can find one case where a, quote, victim came out to lie about James. But let's not pretend like Ethan's being honest here, because he's not. He's literally not getting what James is saying. Or he knows what James is saying and he's just being snaky about it. James is talking about the YouTubers. James specifically says misleading stories and false allegations which have been reported on by many people, creators, and news outlets. He's not talking about victims. He's talking about the people who are talking about the stories. Ethan, of course, is going to spin this as James is, you know, victim blaming, and James is turning on the victims that he supposedly apologized over. Real classy stuff there. I've never seen a case that is so easy as James Charles. You know, it's so easy to call this guy out for the things that he's done wrong, but time and time again, Ethan Klein and Def Noodles have just butchered this story. They've taken the easiest story to cover and just murdered it. They just keep adding more and more unnecessary shit that doesn't even make any sense half the time.
Clearly, he has predatory behaviors.
And so, he's a predator. He's a fucking predator. He's a predator. Like, there's no debating it.
Oh, Augie, he's just calling him a predator. He's not calling... Listen.
There's no debating it.
He's just straight up a predator. Yeah, you're a predator, bro. He just looks like a fucking creep. And by the way, you seen his outfit at Coachella? Everyone's like, oh, Queen, go off. I was like, no, that's a fucking predator. James Charles should be forced to introduce himself to all of his neighbors as a sex criminal.
For sure. Oh, for sure.
You followed him, you fucking creep, liar, bitch, predator. Fuck you. I hate him.
I hate him.
You pathetic predator bitch.
Oh my god. Knowing this kid is
fucking
young.
Hate him. Looks really all you wanted to do was fucking beat off to a child, you fuck.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's
ulterior motives. Fuck you, dude. Chris Hansen, step in. I'm sorry, dude, but you are a danger to society. James Charles, who is proven to be a prolific predator.
James Charles, because he's a predator.
James Charles, who's out there predatoring on 16-year-old kids. James Charles is acting like nothing. He just posted a video, and that dude just literally just got outed for being a literal child predator.
Literally, he said, yes, I sent nudes, but he lied about his age.
Literal child predator. Like, this guy should be in jail.
They still support James Charles, you dumb prick.
I agree. That's fucked.
Predator. You guys love James. He's a predator.
Yeah,
it's perfect because I know that kids have always been your choice. So that works out perfectly. Oh, P.S. Nickelodeon, keep an eye on him during the after party.
So James Charles.
So if they're going to get their just desserts in a courtroom, I'm all for that, actually. Especially Ethan Klein, who's been super morally righteous, criticizing people who are still friendly with James Charles. When I could be, and as a matter of fact, I am, and have been, just as critical of Ethan for platforming Britbong, somebody who, well, allegedly, sent child porn to various YouTubers and streamers, including many of my friends.
Unlike my other videos, this video is very important and talks about something serious going on within the community, which is Britbong or Mr. BTFO harassing people. Despite this video being 5 months old, he is still doing stuff to this day, raiding people's streams with bots that have the N-word in it, sending CP to people in Discord DMs, as well as sending false DMCA claims onto Twitter accounts in order to get them suspended, while doing impersonation in order to pull it off. Like, for example, pretending to work for the creators of Minecraft Mojang.
This is a well-documented fact. As a matter of fact, Ethan, you were warned of promoting Britbong by people like Colossal is Crazy and Ricky Berwick, but instead you chose to ignore them and platform a guy who's a complete psychopath just to get back at Keemstar. So don't get all righteous now about people who are still friends with dangerous James Charles. You know exactly who you put on your show. And let me make it clear, right? If James knowingly texted underage people, obviously I would have a much different perspective on this story. I would not care at that point. I'd be like, okay, James has got to go. But James was lied to, at least according to him and according to the evidence that's been presented so far. Anyone who's saying otherwise is just making up information and pulling it out of their ass. They've turned a story that should just be everybody shitting on James Charles and maybe instead wish that Deaf Noodles and Ethan Klein get their just desserts. Well, now it looks like that might be the case. And if so, I don't care. You asked for this. You made your bed. Now you gotta lie in it. So have fun, Ethan, especially you. You know, this will be your second lawsuit if everything is going as it is. This will be your second lawsuit, except this time, your support from the commentary community might be very, very different than it was last time. You know, circumstances have changed quite a bit now. So GG, well played.